a few days ago, I found out that not everyone has an internal monologue. So what I mean by that is like they can't hear their thoughts, um, which I didn't believe to be true until I asked someone, and they said that if they physically wanted to say something in their head, they'd have to say it out loud. Like they couldn't do it. They don't have that voice that I thought everyone had. Um, so it blew my mind. And I wrote an article about how it ruined my day, and a bunch of people read it and came at me with all these questions that I'm not capable of answering because I can't even wrap my head around it. So I decided to do a Q&A with someone that doesn't have this internal monologue. So hopefully she could answer your questions because I still can't function. Here we go. All right. So I found out a few days ago that not everyone has the ability to speak in their brain. And the first person that I asked if they could do it was her. And turns out she can't. So I asked a bunch of people to ask me questions so I could ask her so she could try to make light of this wild situation. So like if you look, like I could look at myself in the mirror, talk
Right.
in my head without opening my mouth. You physically can't do that.
No.
And what would happen if you tried to do that?
I have tried to do that since learning that an internal monologue exists, and I end up speaking out loud to myself. So most of my conversations are out loud.
I feel like this information to the people that can think in their head is a lot more like exciting news. I've talked to a few people that can't do this, and they seem less enthused as the people that do have this internal monologue.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Uh,
I'm very confused as to why people are so perplexed
all right,
by
so
it.
the probably most requested question was, how do you read? Like when I read, I hear the words in my head. I don't know how you could possibly read without not hearing the words.
When I read, I can see the sentence structure. Like in my head, every sentence has a shape, so you can see like the shape of the sentence. And then also like keywords will pop out, and I can file those away into my like concept map. So at the end of reading something, I can have a concept map of the main topics that I read about. And I tend to move my lips when I read. So like essentially I'm saying it out loud, but it's just not like audible.
So do you visualize the setting when you're reading a book?
No, it's not like images. It's just the words.
So do you like reading like fiction books, like where you have to put yourself in a situation?
I never really enjoyed reading.
At
and
all?
I think maybe that's why. Like I can see the story plot.
Are you a fast reader?
Yes, very fast reader.
We could have a 100-question test. She's done when I'm on question 12. I'm not even kidding. It is superhuman. It's not fair. How do you know what you're thinking if there's no words?
Because I can see it.
I think that's why this whole thing is going viral, is because people like me can't understand how you get through a day without talking to yourself.
I don't know. I just feel like the information is in there, and I can pull it forward if I want it. Like it's all just like it's like files. There's categories of information in my head, and I can pull them to the front if I need them. But
I feel like I could do that. Like if I'm studying, I could like pull things out. But just like if I'm sitting and like I have a thought, or someone is like walking by and I have a thought about that person, I'm like talking to myself about that. Does that not happen to you?
no, If I have a thought, normally I say it out loud.
I can't do this. Do you daydream often?
No, never, hardly ever. I can't think of a time that I've daydreamed. I don't think.
Do you dream at night?
Yes.
And are they normal dreams? Do you hear dialogue in those dreams?
I don't think so, actually.
Do you enjoy being alone? I like this question.
Yeah, I do.
So like if you don't have anything in front of you, like no stimulus, what is going on in your head?
Oh, I always have to be doing stuff. Like if I'm alone, I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm like watching Netflix, I'm studying. But I hardly ever just, like I don't just sit there alone.
Do you have any
Yeah.
theories on this yourself? / do you even care?
I don't
It
really
seems
care.
like she-
This feels really normal to me.
I can't even do this because I can't wrap my head around this. But she is so nonchalant about it, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't. I don't.
You just
I don't get it.
I don't know. It's just my everyday life, so I just do it. I do, like, if I'm at, like, laying in bed at night, like, I have trouble getting to sleep because I can see, like, lists of things I need to do. And in order to make them go away, I have to go write them down.
That's actually one of the questions. Do you fall asleep easily, like quickly, or
No.
is it harder to fall asleep?
Harder to fall asleep. Because I think I'm being almost visually stimulated when like, even my eyes are closed. I can't shut it out.
Yeah, I feel like for me, that voice is just constantly talking, and that makes it also very difficult to sleep. And that's why I feel like a lot of people that are in my situation also think that, like, they wish they could shut it off, and they're kind of jealous of your situation. But then again, we don't know what's going on in your head at all, so it could be even worse. So
I feel like the conversations you're probably having in your head are what I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah. Do you get anxiety?
Yeah. I tend to have really physical symptoms of anxiety. So it's less, I think, of a mental, like, I don't really feel like I am anxious until I realize that, like, my hands are shaking or I feel really nauseated or kind of more like physical symptoms of anxiety.
A bunch of people actually messaged me, and they said that most of the people that don't have this internal monologue are bilingual and speak multiple languages. Do you speak multiple languages, or
no?
Were you just good at, like, high school language, whatever you took?
Yeah, I was really good at high school language. I took 2 languages, and I know a little bit of 2 other languages. So I love language. I actually wanted to go into linguistics at one point in my life.
That's interesting.
I love sentence structure.
If you're on a date, how do you know if you like them or not?
We still feel stuff.
You still feel it?
We still feel.
You're not, like, judging them, like, looking at them and be like, why would they wear that shirt? Or why does he keep talking,
I think
and why won't he shut up?
I think the things that you have in your head are probably more of, like, the box, like, check boxes in my head. So, like, certain things will be like, yep, or like, nope.
I can't do this. When you're typing a sentence, like if you're writing a paper for school, how do you write a sentence if you don't think about, like, how you're going to phrase the words?
Because they connect. It's the sentence. So
they connect.
If there's a noun, it's followed by a verb. If there's, and then
but, like,
it's all about the structure and the shape of the sentence. So and also I read my papers aloud, or I'll speak them out loud as I'm typing them. And then I'll go back and I'll change maybe the sentence structure so it fits a better shape. Like, I don't know how to describe the shape of a sentence, but
when I write, I have thoughts, and I write down what I think. So I can't comprehend how you could possibly just make a sentence without having, like, I don't know.
I have, like, an outline and a flow of where I want the paper to go. So from start to finish, I know exactly what I'm going to say, but not specifically word for word. I'll just start writing to make it say what I want it to. But I don't have a sentence that I hear in my head as I'm writing it. I just know where I'm starting and where I want it to go. So
I thought this was going to make my life easier and make all of the thinking stop, but this is not helping.
Sorry.
And I apologize if this you guys up even more. What else do we have? Oh, serious question. Have you ever had depression?
Yes.
And how does that manifest? Because I feel like most people that have depression have that little voice in the back of the head that is, like, just feeding them negative thoughts. So how does it manifest for you?
I'd say, again, it was back in high school, but it was much more of a physical kind of, it's more of
like
the physical
fatigue?
symptoms. Yeah, feeling really fatigued, feeling no desire to get up or do anything, feeling no interest in doing anything. So it was not, lack of a motivation is, like, a really poor term for that, but
less happy emotions, would you say?
Yeah, feeling disengaged,
thing?
disinterested in life.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Every time I shower, I relive an argument from, like, 2007, and I try to win that argument. Do you not do that?
That sounds like a you problem.
It's not. It's unanimous.
No.
So you don't think about, like, discussions that you've had in the past and how you could have said something different in that situation?
No.
Have you?
I literally did that like last night.
I do it
I do it all the time.
every time I shower. I am constantly just thinking about conversations I've had, maybe some awkward interactions from middle school, or
That far back.
just whenever, I don't choose when it comes into my head. It just pops in there, and I'm like, I should have said this, but I didn't.
I will say that if I've had a conversation that day, sometimes I'll go back, but it's all out loud. I'll tell myself what I would have done differently, or like I'm a big journaler, so I would write about how
That
that
makes
conversation went and how I would do something different.
Okay, well, I don't think we learned anything. I think I'm still spiraling out of control. I don't know where we go from here. She seems okay. I know millions of people that do not feel okay about this situation. All I'm going to say is I hope it helps give some scientists a better insight on how the mind works and gives people more theories that they could think of to help certain situations like mental health and other medical issues that maybe they didn't know about before. So I'm probably not going to sleep tonight.
Sorry.
It's okay. Thanks for watching.